The phone rang at 3:07 a.m. I was deep asleep, buried under blankets, dreaming about nothing in particular. The sound ripped through the darkness like a scream. I fumbled for my phone on the nightstand, knocking over a glass of water in the process. Welcome to Gentle Drama. Get comfortable, grab your coffee, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the final part.
Hello. Am I speaking with Sarah Mitchell? The voice was female, professional, completely awake. A voice that had made this call 100 times before. This is Sarah. Who is this? My name is Karen from Regional Credit Recovery. I'm calling regarding an outstanding debt of $47,000 associated with your Social Security number. I sat up in bed. The room was dark. My heart was pounding. I'm sorry, what? $47,000. The account was opened 18 months ago. It's currently in default. We need to discuss a payment arrangement. I don't have any debt. I've never taken out a loan. I don't even have a credit card. There was a pause on the other end. Ms. Mitchell, I have the paperwork right here. The loan was taken out at First Federal Credit Union in Columbus, Ohio. Your name is on the application. Your Social Security number. Your signature. My signature? Yes, ma'am. I didn't sign anything. I've never been to that bank. I don't even live in Ohio anymore. I live in Chicago. Another pause. Ms. Mitchell, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm simply informing you that this debt exists. You might want to check your credit report. There may be other accounts you're not aware of. Other accounts. My blood ran cold. I'll send you the paperwork. In the meantime, I'll put a hold on collection efforts for 30 days. But Ms. Mitchell, this debt isn't going away. Someone took out this loan. Someone signed your name. And unless you can prove it wasn't you, you're responsible for paying it back. She hung up. I sat in the dark, holding my phone, staring at the wall. $47,000. Someone had stolen my identity. Someone had taken out a loan in my name. Someone had forged my signature. And I had a horrible, sinking feeling that I knew exactly who it was. My parents. They had always been bad with money. I knew that. Growing up, there were always whispers about bills that didn't get paid, collection calls that went unanswered, credit cards that got maxed out and then mysteriously paid off with money my father found. I never asked questions. It wasn't my place. I was just a kid. When I turned 18, my mother asked for my Social Security number. For the family emergency fund, she said. In case something happens. I gave it to her. Because she was my mother. Because I trusted her. Because I was young and stupid and didn't know that the people who are supposed to protect you are sometimes the ones who destroy you. My name is Sarah. I'm 24 years old. I live in a small studio apartment in Chicago, where I work as a medical assistant at a clinic on the north side. I'm not rich. I'm not poor. I'm somewhere in the middle, trying to build a life I can be proud of. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, in a beige house on a street lined with identical beige houses. My father, Michael, was a sales manager at a car dealership. My mother, Linda, was a receptionist at a dental office. They were normal, average, the kind of parents who went to parent-teacher conferences and packed my lunches and helped me with my homework. I didn't know that they were drowning in debt. I didn't know that the credit cards they used to buy my Christmas presents were maxed out and collecting interest. I didn't know that the car they drove was leased, not owned, and that the payments were 3 months overdue. I didn't know any of that because they didn't tell me. They smiled. They pretended. They kept up appearances. And when I left for college, they started using my name. The first thing I did after hanging up with Karen was check my credit report. It was 3:30 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. I just needed to know. I logged into the website. I entered my Social Security number. I answered security questions about addresses I'd never lived at and loans I'd never taken out. Then the screen loaded, and my heart stopped. $47,000 for a loan I never signed. $23,000 for a credit card I never opened. $12,000 for a line of credit at a furniture store I'd never visited. $8,000 for a department store card I'd never applied for. Total, $90,000. $90,000 in debt. In my name. Without my knowledge. Without my permission. I sat in the dark, staring at the screen, trying to breathe. The numbers blurred in front of my eyes. My chest was tight. My hands were shaking. My parents had stolen my future. They had opened accounts in my name. They had forged my signature. They had taken money I never saw and spent it on things I never wanted. And they had let me believe that everything was fine. I didn't call them that night. I couldn't. I was too angry, too hurt, too betrayed. I waited until morning. I called my mother first. Sarah, it's so early. What's wrong? Mom, I need to ask you something. Okay, sweetheart. What is it? Is there a loan in my name? At First Federal Credit Union. Silence. Mom, we can explain. You can explain? You can explain why there's $47,000 in debt attached to my social security number? Debt I never authorized? Debt I never knew about. Sarah, let me get your father. He can explain it better. She put the phone down. I heard muffled voices. My father's voice. Angry. Defensive. Then he picked up. Sarah, listen to me. We hit a rough patch. Your mother lost her job. The car needed repairs. We didn't know where else to turn. So you stole my identity? We didn't steal it. We borrowed your name. We were going to pay it back.
When?
When were you going to pay it back? Before or after the bank called me at 3 a.m. demanding payment? Silence. Dad, I'm 24 years old. I was about to buy my first car. I was about to start saving for a down payment on a house. I was about to start my life. And now I have $90,000 in debt that isn't mine. We'll fix it. We'll find a way.
How?
You don't have any money. You've never had any money. You've been drowning your whole life, and instead of asking for help, you pulled me down with you. He didn't have an answer. I hung up. The weeks that followed were a nightmare. I contacted the banks. I filed police reports. I submitted affidavits, swearing that I hadn't signed any of the documents. I froze my credit. I changed my social security number. I hired a lawyer. My parents didn't help. They didn't offer to pay. They didn't confess. They just disappeared. My mother stopped returning my calls. My father sent a few texts, short and vague. We're working on it. We'll figure something out. Give us time.
Time.
They had taken years of my life already. They had stolen my 20s before they had even begun. And now they wanted more time. My lawyer, a woman named Ms. Chun who specialized in identity theft cases, was blunt. Sarah, this is going to take a while. The banks are going to fight you. They're going to say you should have known. They're going to say you were negligent with your personal information. I was. I gave my mother my social security number when I was 18. I didn't know she would use it. Unfortunately, that's going to be a problem. In the eyes of the law, you shared your information voluntarily. The banks might argue that you're responsible for anything done with it. Even if I didn't authorize it? Even if you didn't authorize it. Negligence is negligence. I felt sick. What do? You fight. You gather evidence. You prove that you didn't sign those documents. You prove that the signatures are forgeries. And you pray that the banks believe you. If you've made it this far, you're one of the rare ones. But let's keep going. I spent the next 6 months fighting. I requested copies of every document my parents had signed. I compared the signatures to my own. They weren't even close. My mother had tried to mimic my handwriting, but it was obvious. The loops were wrong. The slant was wrong. The pressure on the paper was wrong. I had a forensic document examiner review them. He confirmed that the signatures were forged. I submitted police reports. I submitted affidavits.
You submitted bank statements.
I submitted everything I had. And still, the banks fought back. Ms. Mitchell, are you telling us that your parents opened these accounts without your knowledge? Yes. And you never checked your credit report?
No.
I was 22 years old. I didn't know I had to. Did you ever receive any statements or correspondence related to these accounts?
No.
They were sent to my parents' address. Did you ever ask your parents about your credit?
No.
Ms. Mitchell, it's our position that you were willfully blind to these accounts. You had a responsibility to monitor your credit. You failed to do so. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to reach through the phone and strangle the person on the other end. But I didn't. I took a deep breath. I said, I understand your position. And I disagree. I'm prepared to take this to court if necessary. They backed down. Slowly. One by one, the accounts were removed from my credit report. But it took time. Years. And every day that passed was another day of my life that my parents had stolen. My father called on my 25th birthday. Sarah, I know you don't want to talk to me, but I wanted to say happy birthday. Thanks. We're working on paying you back. Your mother and I. We're making payments. How much have you paid? About 5,000. 5,000. Out of 90,000. It's a start. A start would have been telling me the truth before you ruined my credit. He didn't have an answer. We hung up. I moved on with my life. Slowly. Painfully. I bought a car. A used Honda, with high mileage and a dent in the door. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was mine. I started saving for a house. It would take years, but I had time. I stopped talking to my parents. I stopped answering their calls. I stopped reading their texts. They had stolen my name. They had stolen my future. They had stolen my trust. And I wasn't sure I could ever give it back. The weeks after my father's birthday call were a blur of legal paperwork, sleepless nights, and conversations with lawyers who spoke in a language I barely understood. Ms. Chun, my attorney, was patient. She explained things twice, 3 times, however many times it took. The banks have removed most of the accounts from your credit report, she said during our 3rd meeting. But the $47,000 loan is more complicated. Your parents made payments on it for the first year. That works in their favor. How does that work in their favor? It shows intent to repay. A judge might see it as a family matter, not a criminal one. But it's identity theft. They used my name. They forged my signature. I know, and I agree with you. But the legal system doesn't always move in straight lines. I stared at the wall of her office. It was beige, like the walls of my childhood home.
I hated beige.
What do you recommend? Gather more evidence. Every text message, every voicemail, every letter. We need to prove that they knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew. Prove it. I went back to my apartment. I opened the box where I kept everything related to the case. Police reports, bank statements, affidavits. It was thick now, heavy with the weight of my parents' betrayal. I started scrolling through old text messages. Most were mundane. Dinner at 6. Don't forget to call Grandma. How's work? But then I found one from 3 years ago, the year before I discovered the debt. Dad, can I borrow $200 for textbooks? I'm short this month. His response, I'm sorry, sweetheart.
We don't have it right now.
Things are tight. Things were tight because they were spending my credit on their lifestyle. They didn't have $200 to lend me, but they had thousands to spend on furniture and clothes and God knows what else. I saved the screenshot. Welcome to Everyday Drama. Get comfortable. Grab your coffee. The truth is finally coming out. Drop a comment and tell us, what city are you watching from, and how old are you? And be sure to subscribe, so you don't miss the final part. I decided to confront my parents in person, not because I thought they would confess, because I needed to see their faces. I needed to know if they felt any remorse. I drove to Columbus on a Saturday, 6 hours from Chicago. The drive gave me time to think, to rehearse, to prepare for the worst. The house looked the same.
Beige.
Identical to its neighbors. The lawn was overgrown. The paint was peeling. Signs of neglect that I had been too young to notice before. My mother opened the door. She looked older, thinner. Her hair was gray at the roots.
Sarah.
You came. I need to talk to you and Dad. Together. He's in the living room. I walked in. The house smelled like old coffee and stale cigarettes, a combination I didn't remember from my childhood. The furniture was worn. The carpet was stained. My father was sitting in his recliner, watching television. He didn't look up when I walked in. Dad. Sarah. Can you turn off the TV? He clicked the remote. The screen went dark. I sat down on the couch across from them. The same couch where I had watched Saturday morning cartoons. The same couch where I had cried when my first boyfriend broke up with me. The The same couch where I had told them I was moving to Chicago. I talked to my lawyer, I said. She says I have a case. She says I can press charges. My mother's face went pale. My father's jaw tightened. You wouldn't, he said. I don't want to, but I will if I have to. Sarah, we're your parents. We raised you. We loved you. You stole from me. We borrowed. There's a difference.
No, Dad.
Borrowing is when you ask permission. Borrowing is when you have a plan to pay it back. You did neither. He looked at the floor. We were going to tell you.
When?
When were you going to tell me? Before or after the bank called? No answer. My mother started crying. The same tears she always cried. The ones that used to make me feel guilty. The ones that used to make me apologize for being upset.
I didn't apologize this time.
Do you have any idea what you've done to me? I asked. Do you have any idea what it's like to try to buy a car and get rejected? To try to rent an apartment and get denied? To check your credit score and see a number so low you want to throw up? We didn't mean to hurt you. Mean to? You didn't mean to? You opened accounts in my name. You forged my signature. You stole $90,000 from my future. And you didn't mean to? My mother buried her face in her hands. We were desperate, my father said. Desperate? You were desperate? I was 22 years old. I was trying to start my life. And you stole it from me because you were desperate. We lost the house. Did you know that? We lost it 2 years ago. We've been renting ever since. We didn't tell you because we were ashamed. I stared at him. Lost the house. The house I grew up in. The house I thought would always be there. You lost it because of the debt? Or you lost it because of the debt and you used my name to try to save it? Both. I closed my eyes. When I opened them, my father was crying too. I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to answer honestly. Okay. Did you ever plan to pay back the money?
He was quiet for a long time.
I don't know, he said. I wanted to. I wanted to believe we could. But I don't know. I looked at my mother. Her eyes were red. Her nose was running. Mom, I thought things would get better, she whispered. I thought we would figure it out. I thought we would find a way. You thought. You hoped. You prayed. But you didn't act.
No.
I stood up. I'm not going to press charges. Not today. But I'm not going to pretend that everything is okay either. You did something unforgivable. You stole my name. You stole my future. And I don't know if I can ever forgive you. Sarah, please. I need space. I need time. I need to figure out who I am without your lies following me. I walked to the door. My mother called after me. I didn't turn around. The drive back to Chicago was the loneliest drive of my life. The months after that visit were hard. I stopped calling. I stopped visiting. I stopped answering texts. My mother sent letters. Long, rambling apologies that were really just excuses. We were so scared. We didn't know what else to do. We love you more than anything. My father sent money. Small amounts. $50 here. $100 there. He included notes. Working on it. Making progress. Please don't give up on us. I didn't cash the checks. I couldn't. Accepting their money felt like accepting their betrayal. Ms. Chin continued to fight the banks. One by one, the accounts were removed from my credit report. The $47,000 loan was the hardest. But even that was eventually cleared. My credit score started to rise. Slowly. Painfully. I was 26 when I finally felt like myself again. My brother, David, called me on my birthday. He was 2 years younger than me. We had never been close. He still lived in Columbus, still worked at the hardware store, still lived in my parents' shadow. Hey, Sarah. Happy birthday. Thanks, David. Mom and Dad wanted me to tell you they're thinking about you. Tell them I'm thinking about them too. That's it? Just thinking. David, I don't know what you want me to say. They destroyed my credit. They stole my future. They lied to me for years. I know. I'm not defending them. I'm stuck in the middle. You're not stuck. You can choose. You can choose them or you can choose me. But you can't pretend that nothing happened. He was quiet for a moment. I choose you. Then act like it. What does that mean? It means stop being their messenger. Stop trying to guilt me into forgiving them. Stop pretending that their love for me is the same as their love for you.
He didn't argue.
He just said okay and hung up. If you've made it this far, you're one of the rare ones. 94% of people scroll past without subscribing, but you stayed.
That tells me something about you.
Hit subscribe because what comes next? You deserve to see how Sarah's story ends. I started therapy, not because I was crazy, because I needed to talk to someone who wasn't invested in my family's drama. Someone who could help me sort through the anger and the guilt and the shame. My therapist, Dr. Reyes, was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She asked questions that made me think. Why do you feel guilty? She asked in our third session. Because I cut them off. They're my parents. They raised me. They gave me everything. Did they? What do you mean? They gave you food and shelter. They sent you to school. They bought you Christmas presents. But did they give you safety? Did they give you honesty? Did they give you a foundation you could build on?
No.
Then why do you feel guilty for protecting yourself? I don't know. You're not guilty, Sarah. You're grieving. You're grieving the parents you thought you had. The ones who existed only in your imagination. She was right. I was grieving. Grieving the mother who would never apologize. The father who would never protect me. The family that would never be whole. I didn't go home for Christmas. I stayed in Chicago. Lena, my friend from work, invited me to her family celebration. Her parents were warm. Her siblings were loud. Her grandmother pinched my cheeks and told me I was too thin. It was the best Christmas I had ever had. My mother called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Sarah, we miss you. David is here. Grandma is here. Everyone is asking about you. Please come home. I deleted the voicemail. I wasn't ready. The following spring, my father was hospitalized. Heart attack. Not a bad one. A warning. My brother called me from the waiting room. He's asking for you. I know. He's scared, Sarah. He thinks he's going to die. He's not going to die. It was a minor heart attack. That's not the point. What is the point, David? The point is that he's still our father. And he's still human. And he made a mistake. He didn't make a mistake. He made a choice. Every day for 5 years, he chose to lie to me. He chose to steal from me. He chose to destroy my future. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. David was quiet. I'm not going to Ohio, I said. I'm not going to hold his hand and pretend that everything is okay. I'm not going to let him off the hook because he's scared. What if he dies? Then he dies. And I'll grieve. But I won't pretend. I hung up. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. Handwritten. My father's handwriting. I recognized it immediately because he had written me notes every morning before school. Have a great day, sweetheart. And left them on the kitchen counter with my lunch. I almost threw it away. I almost told myself that I wasn't ready. I almost pretended it didn't exist. But I opened it. Dear Sarah, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to blame your mother. I'm not going to tell you that we were desperate or scared or that we didn't have a choice. We had a choice. We made the wrong one. I stole from you. I stole your name, your credit, your future. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself I would pay it back. I told myself you would understand if you ever found out. I was lying to myself, just like I was lying to you. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to call or visit or pretend that everything is okay. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. Truly sorry. Not sorry that I got caught. Sorry that I hurt you. I'm in therapy now. Real therapy. Not the kind your mother forced me to go to when she thought I was the problem. The kind where I have to look at myself and admit what I've done. I have a long way to go, but I'm going. I love you, Sarah. I always have. I just didn't know how to show it.
Dad.
I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in the drawer with the police reports and the bank statements and the affidavits.
I didn't write back.
Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I didn't throw it away either. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my mother. Not a text. Not a voicemail. An actual call in the middle of the day when she knew I would be at work. I stepped out of the clinic and into the parking lot. Sarah, it's your mother. I know. Did you get your father's letter? Yes. Are you going to respond? I don't know. He's really trying, Sarah. He's going to meetings. He's seeing a therapist. He's working on himself. That's good. Don't you care?
Y care.
But caring doesn't mean I have to let him back into my life. Sarah, he's your father. And you're my mother. And you both stole from me. The line was quiet for a moment. We were going to tell you. When? I don't know. When things got better. Things never got better. You just got better at hiding. My mother started crying. The same tears. The same performance. I didn't fall for it. I have to go back to work, Mom. I'll talk to you later. Sarah. I'll talk to you later. I hung up. I went back to the clinic. Back to my patients. Back to my life. That night, I called Dr. Reyes. I got a letter from my father. A real apology. No excuses. How did it make you feel?
Confused.
Angry.
Sad.
All of it. Those are all valid feelings. I know. But I don't know what to do with them. You don't have to do anything with them right now. You can just feel them. That's not helpful. It's not supposed to be helpful. It's supposed to be honest. I hung up. I stared at the ceiling. She was right. I didn't have to do anything. I could just sit with the feelings. Let them exist. Let them breathe. It was the hardest thing I had ever done. If you've made it this far, you're one of the few.
Most people would have stopped by now.
But you stayed.
That tells me something about you.
Hit that subscribe button and drop a like. What comes next? You don't want to miss it. 6 months passed. I didn't call my father. I didn't write back. But I didn't throw the letter away either. It sat in the drawer, next to the evidence of his crime. A reminder that people are complicated, that they can love you and hurt you in the same breath. My credit was almost repaired. The $47,000 loan was gone. The credit card accounts were closed. The collection agencies had stopped calling. I bought a used Honda Civic. Nothing fancy. But it was mine. I drove it to work every day, and every day I felt a little more like myself. I started dating a man named Marcus. He was a nurse at the clinic. He had kind eyes and a quiet laugh, and didn't ask too many questions about my family. You don't talk about your parents much, he said one night. They're not worth talking about. Everyone's worth talking about, even the ones who hurt us. They stole $90,000 from me. They used my name. They forged my signature. They destroyed my credit. Marcus was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. I know. But I'm still sorry. You deserved better. I looked at him, at his kind eyes and his quiet laugh, and the way he didn't push. You're good, you know that? He smiled. I try. My brother David called in the fall. Sarah, I need to tell you something.
What?
Dad is sick again. Not his heart. Something else. The doctors aren't sure yet. What do you mean, something else? They're running tests. They think it might be cancer. I sat down on my couch. The room was spinning. Does he know? He knows. He's scared. He's asking for you. I don't know if I can. I know, but I thought you should know. Thanks, David. Take care of yourself, Sarah. You too. I hung up. I stared at the wall. Cancer. My father had cancer. The father who had stolen from me. The father who had lied to me. The father who had written me a letter that I still hadn't answered. He was dying. And I didn't know how to feel. I called Dr. Reyes that night. Sarah, how are you doing? I don't know. Tell me what you're feeling. Everything. Nothing. I don't know. That's normal. When someone who hurt us gets sick, it's confusing. I should feel sad. He's my father. You can feel sad. You can also feel angry. You can feel relieved. You can feel guilty about feeling relieved. There's no right way to feel. What do I do? Do I go see him? Do I stay here? What do you want to do? I want to not have to make this decision. But you do. I know. I hung up. I lay in bed. I stared at the ceiling. The decision was mine. No one else could make it for me. I decided to go. Not because he deserved it. Not because I had forgiven him. Because I needed to see him. I needed to look him in the eye and see if the man who wrote that letter was real. I flew to Ohio on a Thursday. Marcus offered to come with me. I said no. This was something I had to do alone. David picked me up at the airport. How is he? He's okay.
Tired. Scared.
But okay. Does he know I'm coming? I told him you might. He didn't want to get his hopes up. I nodded. David drove. The roads were familiar. The houses were familiar. The town was familiar. Everything felt the same. Everything felt different. The hospital was small. The same hospital where I had been born. The same hospital where my grandmother had died. My father was in a private room on the second floor. The door was half open. I knocked.
Come in.
I walked in. He was lying in bed. He looked smaller than I remembered. Thinner. Older. His hair was gray. His skin was pale. Sarah. Dad. I didn't think you would come. Neither did I. I sat down in the chair next to his bed. How are you feeling? Scared. Me too. He nodded. I read your letter, I said. And I believe you. I believe you're sorry. I believe you're trying. But I don't know if I can forgive you.
Not yet.
Maybe not ever. I know. But I'm here. That's something. It's everything. We talked for an hour. He told me about the cancer. Prostate. Early stage. They caught it in time. The prognosis was good. I'm not going to die, Sarah. Not from this.
I'm glad.
Are you? I don't know. I don't want you to die. But I don't want to pretend that everything is okay either. I'm not asking you to pretend. I'm asking you to be here. That's all. I can do that. I stayed in Ohio for 3 days. I visited my father every day. We talked. We sat in silence. We watched television. We ate hospital food. It wasn't easy. It wasn't comfortable. But it was real. My mother came to the hospital once. She stood in the doorway, watching us. Sarah. Mom. I'm glad you came. I didn't come for you. I know.
She left.
My father watched her go. She's still not in therapy, he said. I know. She's not ready to admit what she did. And you are. I'm trying. That's not the same. I know. But it's where I am. I flew back to Chicago on Sunday. Marcus picked me up at the airport. How was it? Hard. Did you get what you needed? I don't know. I don't know what I needed. You went. That's what matters. I leaned my head against his shoulder. Thank you for being here. Always. The weeks after my visit were different. Not better. Not worse. Different. My father called every week. We talked about small things. The weather. His treatment.
My job.
He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for anything. He just talked. I still didn't know if I could forgive him, but I was willing to try. The following spring, my father was declared cancer-free. He called me with the news. The doctors say I'm going to be okay.
I'm glad.
I want to see you. Not at the hospital. Somewhere normal. Okay. I'll come to Chicago. I want to see your apartment. I want to meet Marcus. I want to see your life. Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
For giving me another chance. Don't thank me yet. Let's see if you can keep it. He came to Chicago in May. He brought flowers. He brought a card. He brought a check for $5,000. I know it's not enough, but it's a start. I can't cash this, Dad. Then don't. But take it. Please. I took the check. I put it in my pocket. He met Marcus. They shook hands. They talked about sports. They talked about the weather. They talked about nothing. It was awkward. It was uncomfortable. It was a beginning. Here's what I learned. Forgiveness is not a destination. It's a road. You walk it every day. Some days you make progress.
Some days you fall back.
My father hurt me. He stole from me. He lied to me. He destroyed my credit and my trust and my sense of safety. But he also tried. He went to therapy. He wrote me a letter. He showed up. That doesn't erase what he did. But it makes the future possible. My mother hasn't tried. She's still stuck. She's still blaming. She's still pretending.
I don't know if she'll ever change.
I don't know if I'll ever speak to her again. But I'm not waiting. I'm living. And that's enough. The summer after my father's recovery was the hottest on record in Chicago. The air felt thick and heavy, like breathing through wet cotton. My tiny studio apartment became an oven, and I spent most of my evenings sitting on the fire escape, watching the city turn orange in the sunset, watching the lights flicker on in 1,000 windows, each one hiding a story I would never know. Marcus was working nights at the clinic, 12-hour shifts that left him exhausted and hollow-eyed. I made him dinner when he came home, and we ate together in the gray light of early morning, trading stories about our patients, our coworkers, our small victories. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't the life I had imagined, but it was ours. David called once a week with updates from Ohio. My father called every Sunday at exactly 6 p.m. We talked about his garden. His tomatoes were thriving, his peppers were struggling, his sunflowers had grown taller than the fence. We talked about his therapy, slow progress, small breakthroughs, moments of clarity that felt like gifts. We talked about the weather, about the news, about nothing at all. My mother did not call. She didn't send letters. She didn't send texts. She didn't send birthday cards. She had frozen me out completely, as if I were the one who had done something wrong, as if I were the criminal and she were the victim. I told myself I didn't care. I told myself her silence was a gift, a reprieve, a chance to breathe without her manipulation poisoning the air. I told myself I was better off without her, that her absence was not a loss but a liberation. I told myself these things every day, sometimes multiple times a day, the way you tell yourself a lie so often that it starts to feel like the truth. But late at night, when the city was quiet and the only light came from the street lamp outside my window and Marcus was sleeping beside me, I wondered if she thought about me. I wondered if she missed me. I wondered if she felt any remorse at all for what she had done, for the years of lies, for the $90,000 of debt she had dumped on my shoulders like a bag of bricks. I wondered if she ever lay awake at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying the choices she had made and wishing she could take them back. I never got an answer. The silence was its own answer. The first sign that my mother wasn't finished came in July. I was at work, reviewing patient files, when my phone buzzed. A text from my cousin Rachel, who lived in Columbus and had somehow managed to stay neutral throughout the entire family drama. Rachel was the kind of person who never took sides, who listened to everyone, who believed in giving people the benefit of the doubt. She was Switzerland in human form. If she was reaching out, something was seriously wrong.
Hey, Sarah.
I don't know how to tell you this, so I'm just going to say it. Your mom is telling people you're the one who stole the money. She's saying you forged your own name to get back at them for something.
I stared at the message.
The screen blurred in front of my eyes. The words didn't make sense. I read them again, and again, and again. She's saying what? She's telling everyone that you're unstable, that you made up the whole story to get attention, that you're trying to destroy the family. She said your father is scared of you. She said you threaten them. She said you're dangerous. Does anyone believe her? Some do. Some don't. Your grandmother is furious. She called your mom a liar to her face in front of 20 people at a family barbecue. Your mom just cried and played the victim, and some of the relatives comforted her, and now everyone is choosing sides. She's good at that. She's had a lot of practice. I put my phone down. I walked to the break room. I sat in the corner and put my head in my hands. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The coffee maker gurgled. Someone's phone rang in the distance. Normal sounds.
Ordinary sounds.
The soundtrack of a life that was supposed to be normal, a life that had been anything but. My mother was rewriting history. Again. She was making herself the victim. Again. She was erasing my pain, my loss, my trauma, my years of struggle. Again. She was doing what she had always done, controlling the narrative, spinning the story, making sure that everyone saw her the way she wanted to be seen. I called Ms. Chun. Sarah, what's wrong? My mother is telling people I forged my own name. She's saying I'm the one who stole the money. She's saying I'm unstable and dangerous. That's defamation. I know. Have you recorded any of these conversations?
No.
I didn't know I needed to. Start recording. Every call, every voicemail, every interaction. Document everything. If there's a written record, Texts, emails, social media posts, save them. Screenshot everything. Do you think this will go to court? I don't know. But if it does, you'll need evidence. And if it doesn't, you'll still have documentation in case she escalates. I hung up. I stared at the wall. The wall was beige, like the walls of my childhood bedroom.
You hated beige.
My mother was trying to destroy me again. Not with debt this time. With lies. With whispers. With the slow, steady poison of a narrative that painted me as the villain and herself as the martyr. She was doing what she had always done, controlling the story, making sure that everyone believed her version of events. I called Dr. Reyes. Sarah, how are you doing? Not great. Tell me. My mother is telling people I forged my own name. She's saying I'm crazy. She's turning the family against me. How does that make you feel? Angry. Tired. Heartbroken. All of it. Those are all valid feelings. I know, but I don't know what to do with them. You don't have to do anything with them right now. You just have to feel them. And then you have to decide what comes next. What comes next is I protect myself.
Good.
That's the right answer. Protecting yourself is not selfish. It's survival. I didn't confront my mother. Not yet. I needed more information. I needed to know exactly what she was saying and to whom. I needed to know who was on my side and who had already been turned against me. I needed to know the full scope of the damage before I decided how to respond. I called my grandmother. Grandma, I need to ask you something. Of course, sweetheart. What is Mom telling people about me? My grandmother was quiet for a moment. I could hear her breathing, slow and steady, the way she breathed when she was trying to control her temper, when she was counting to 10 in her head, when she was reminding herself that she was 80 years old and too old for this nonsense. I was hoping you wouldn't ask. I need to know. She's telling people that you're mentally ill, that you've been unstable since you were a teenager, that you forged your own signature to get back at your father for not paying for college, that you're trying to destroy the family because you've always been jealous of your brother. She said that. She said it to me. To your Aunt Helen, to your cousin Mark, to anyone who will listen. She's been calling people for weeks, telling them that you're dangerous, that you need to be hospitalized, that your father is scared of you. Why isn't anyone stopping her? Because she's your mother. Because people don't want to get involved. Because it's easier to believe the lie than to fight for the truth. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Sarah. You know that better than most. I cried. Not the quiet tears of someone who is trying to hide. The loud, ugly tears of someone who has been pushed too far, who's been carrying too much weight for too long, who has finally reached the end of her rope. I cried the way I hadn't cried since I was a child, the way that made my chest ache and my throat burn and my eyes swell shut. Grandma, what do I do? You take care of yourself. You build your life. You let her talk. The people who matter know the truth. But what if no one believes me? What if I'm alone? You're not alone. I believe you. Your father believes you. David believes you. That's enough. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe that love would win, that truth would win, that the people who mattered would stand by me no matter what my mother said. But late at night, when the apartment was dark and the city was quiet, and the only sound was the hum of the refrigerator, I wasn't so sure. My father called on Sunday. His voice was shaky, thinner than usual, the voice of a man who had been crying and trying to hide it, the voice of a man who had spent his whole life hiding his feelings and was finally failing at it. Sarah, I need to tell you something. What? Your mother is talking to a lawyer. She's trying to sue you for defamation. She's suing me? For what? Telling the truth. She says you're the one who damaged her reputation. She says you're trying to ruin her. She says you've been spreading lies about her to the whole family. Dad, I have proof. I have bank statements. I have affidavits. I have a forensic document examiner who says the signatures are forgeries. I have text messages from her admitting that she took the money. She doesn't have a case. I know, but she doesn't care. She just wants to hurt you. She wants to punish you for not forgiving her. She wants to make you suffer the way she's suffering.
She's good at that. I'm sorry, Sarah.
I'm sorry I let this happen. I'm sorry I didn't stop her before. I'm sorry I wasn't stronger. I'm sorry I was too scared to stand up to her. You're not responsible for her choices, Dad. Only she is. I know, but I enabled her. For years. I watched her destroy you, and I did nothing. I told myself it was none of my business. I told myself you were strong enough to handle it. I told myself she would stop eventually. I told myself a lot of things that weren't true. She didn't stop.
No.
She didn't. But you're doing something now. That's what matters. I'm trying. I know. I met with Ms. Chin the next week. Her office was in a tall building downtown, all glass and steel and expensive furniture. The kind of building where you felt like you needed to whisper. The kind of building where people made decisions that changed lives. She wore a gray suit and glasses and looked at me over her desk with eyes that had seen everything, that had witnessed the worst of human behavior and somehow remained kind. Your mother's lawyer contacted me, she said. She's claiming that you're the one who committed identity theft. That you forged your own signature to get money from the banks. That you've been lying about the whole thing to get attention and sympathy. That's insane. Legally, it's also impossible. The accounts were opened when you were 22. You were living in Chicago working at the clinic. The accounts were opened in Columbus, at banks you've never visited. The signatures on the documents don't match yours. The paper trail is clear. The timeline is impossible. There's no scenario where you could have done what she's accusing you of. So what do? We wait. We let her file. And then we bury her with evidence. Aren't you supposed to tell me to avoid conflict? To try to resolve this without court? To protect the family? I'm supposed to tell you a lot of things. But I'm also supposed to tell you the truth. And the truth is, people like your mother don't back down. They don't apologize.
They don't change.
They just find new ways to attack. The only way to stop her is to win. I sat in the expensive chair, surrounded by the expensive furniture, and I thought about my mother, about the woman who had given me life, about the woman who had stolen my name, about the woman who is now trying to steal my reputation. What if she doesn't file? Then we've learned something about her. Someone is advising her. Someone is telling her not to make the same mistake twice. Someone is protecting her from herself. Her lawyer. Maybe. Or your father. Or someone else who finally has her ear. Someone who can see that she's on the verge of destroying herself. What do I do in the meantime? You live your life. You keep working. You keep healing. You don't let her control you. You don't let her win. The lawsuit never came. I don't know what happened. Maybe her lawyer told her she didn't have a case. Maybe my father convinced her to drop it. Maybe she finally realized that she couldn't rewrite history, that the evidence was too strong, that the truth would come out no matter how hard she tried to bury it. Maybe someone finally got through to her. The threats stopped. The calls from relatives stopped. The rumors faded. The family stopped talking about it, not because the conflict was resolved, but because everyone was exhausted. Everyone had chosen sides. Everyone had said what they needed to say. There was nothing left to fight about. My mother went silent.
I didn't ask why.
I didn't care. I just wanted to be left alone. The fall brought cooler weather and a sense of calm I hadn't felt in years. My father continued his therapy. He started volunteering at a local food bank, stacking shelves, bagging groceries, talking to people who had nowhere else to go. He sent me weekly updates about his garden. His tomatoes were thriving, his peppers were struggling, his sunflowers had grown taller than the fence. He sent pictures of his first harvest, proud as a child showing off a drawing. I'm trying to be better, he said on one of our Sunday calls. I know I can't undo what I did. I know I can't give you back the years you lost. But I can try to be the father you deserved. I can try to earn your trust back, one day at a time. You're trying, I said. That's more than I ever got from her. She's not capable of trying. Not yet. Maybe not ever. That's not my problem anymore.
No.
It's not. And I'm sorry it took me so long to see that. Marcus and I moved in together in October. A small 2-bedroom apartment in a quieter neighborhood, with a kitchen big enough for both of us to cook together, and a living room with windows that faced east. We painted the walls blue. We bought furniture at thrift stores. We made it ours. We made it home. I still didn't talk to my mother. I still didn't answer her calls. I still didn't read her texts. I had blocked her number months ago, after the defamation campaign started. I didn't need to hear her voice. I didn't need to read her words. I didn't need her poison in my life. I had finally learned that protecting myself was not selfish. But I stopped flinching when her name came up in conversation. I stopped checking my phone for messages from her. I stopped waiting for her to apologize. I stopped hoping for a reconciliation that would never come. She never would apologize. That wasn't who she was. And I was learning to be okay with that. David called in December. Sarah, Mom wants to have Christmas at her place. She wants you to come. I can't. She's really trying, Sarah. She's been going to therapy too. She's been working on herself. She's been seeing a counselor who specializes in family estrangement. She's been reading books. She's been going to support groups. Has she apologized? I don't know. You should ask her. I don't want to ask her, David.
I want her to tell me.
Without me asking. Without me begging. Without me doing the work for her. If she's really changed, she'll find a way to say she's sorry. She won't need me to prompt her. She's scared, Sarah. She's scared of losing you forever. She lost me the minute she stole my name. The rest is just paperwork. The rest is just her coming to terms with what she did. David was quiet for a moment. I'm not trying to guilt you. I'm just telling you what's happening. I know, and I appreciate it, but I'm not ready. Will you ever be ready? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. But I'm not going to pretend just to make everyone comfortable. I'm not going to show up and smile and act like nothing happened. I'm done pretending. I spent Christmas with Marcus's family. They lived in a small town outside of Chicago, a place with a main street and a diner and a post office that still had a mural of the town's founding fathers. A place where everyone knew everyone, and the biggest scandal was who put up their Christmas decorations first. His mother cooked too much food, turkey and ham and mashed potatoes and 3 kinds of pie. His father told bad jokes that made everyone groan. His brothers played video games in the basement until 2 a.m. His grandmother pinched my cheeks and told me I was too skinny and asked when we were going to get married. It was loud. It was chaotic. It was everything my family had never been. I cried on the drive home. What's wrong? Marcus asked. Nothing. Everything. I don't know. Was it too much? It was perfect. That's the problem. I don't understand. My family never had that. The noise. The chaos. The love. They were too busy pretending to be perfect to actually be happy. They were too busy keeping up appearances to actually be a family. Marcus took my hand. His fingers were warm. His grip was steady. You have a family now. It's not the one you were born into, but it's real. I leaned my head against his shoulder. I know. New Year's Eve was quiet. Marcus was working. I sat on the couch, watching the ball drop on television, feeling nothing.
The countdown began. 10, 9, 8, 7.
The crowd cheered. The new year arrived. My phone buzzed at midnight. A text from my father. Happy New Year, Sarah. I love you. I'm proud of you. This year is going to be better. I texted back. Happy New Year, Dad. I love you too. A text from my brother. Happy New Year, sis. You're my hero. Don't ever forget that. I texted back. Happy New Year, David. You're mine too. A text from my mother. Happy New Year, Sarah. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. I hope you have everything you ever wanted. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you can forgive me someday. I stared at the message. I read it 3 times. I thought about what it meant, what it didn't mean, what it would take for me to believe her. I hope you can forgive me someday. Not please forgive me. Not I was wrong. Not I'm sorry for what I did. Just I hope you can forgive me someday. As if forgiveness was something she was entitled to, something she could wait for, something she didn't have to earn. I didn't text back. The winter passed. The snow melted. The spring came. My father's garden flourished. He sent pictures of his first tomatoes, his first peppers, his first sunflowers. Marcus and I celebrated our 1-year anniversary with a dinner at a fancy restaurant and a walk along the lake. My work at the clinic became more fulfilling, more meaningful, more mine. I still thought about my mother. I still wondered if she would ever change. I still hoped, in some small, secret part of my heart, that she would call and apologize and make everything right. That part of me was small now, quiet, buried under layers of hurt and disappointment. But it was still there. But I stopped waiting. Because waiting was stealing my life. Because waiting was giving her power she didn't deserve. Because waiting was keeping me stuck in the past, and I was done being stuck. I had already lost too much to her theft. I wasn't going to lose another day. The knock came on a Sunday afternoon in April. The rain was falling in sheets, the kind of rain that turns streets into rivers and makes you grateful for a warm apartment. I was curled up on the couch with a book. Marcus was at work, and the world was quiet. The kind of quiet that feels rare in a city like Chicago, the kind of quiet that makes you hold your breath so you don't disturb it. Then the knock. 3 sharp raps. Insistent. Unfamiliar. I didn't expect anyone. My father called on Sundays, but he never visited unannounced. He was careful about boundaries now, respectful of my space, cautious not to push too hard. David was in Ohio, living his own life, working at the hardware store, trying to stay neutral in a war that had never really been his. My grandmother was in Florida, enjoying her retirement, sending me postcards with pictures of palm trees and sunsets. Marcus had his keys. He never knocked. No one else knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. My mother was standing in the hallway. She looked different. Older. Thinner. Her hair was gray at the roots, and she wasn't wearing makeup, which I had never seen before. My mother never left the house without makeup. She believed that a woman's appearance was her armor, and she never went into battle unprotected. But today, her armor was missing. She was holding a grocery bag and wearing a coat that was too thin for the weather, the kind of coat you buy at a discount store because you can't afford anything better. Her face was pale. Her eyes were red. She looked like she had been crying. I opened the door. Sarah. Mom. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked into my apartment. She looked around slowly, at the blue walls, the thrift store furniture, the photographs on the shelf. She had never been here before. She had never seen where I lived. She had never cared enough to ask, and I had never cared enough to invite her. You have a nice place. Thank you. I've never seen it before.
No.
You haven't. She nodded.
She didn't argue.
She didn't defend herself. She didn't launch into the familiar litany of excuses I had heard 1,000 times. She just stood there, in the middle of my living room, looking lost and old and tired. How did you find me? David gave me the address. He didn't tell me you were coming. I asked him not to. I wanted to surprise you. You wanted to ambush me. She flinched. The word hit her like a slap. I wanted to see you. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to apologize. You could have called. You wouldn't have answered. She was right. I wouldn't have. I had blocked her number months ago, after the defamation campaign started. I had told myself it was self-preservation. I had told myself she didn't deserve access to my life. I had told myself I was done with her. Okay, I said. Talk. I sat down on the couch. She sat across from me, on the chair Marcus usually sat in. She was holding the grocery bag like it was a shield, something to put between us, something to hold on to. I brought food. I didn't know if you'd have anything. It's fine. She put the bag on the coffee table. She didn't take anything out. She just sat there, her hands in her lap, her eyes on the floor. I'm sorry, she said. For what?
For everything.
For the debt. For the lies.
For the things I said about you.
For trying to sue you. For all of it. For every terrible thing I did. Why now? Why not before? Why not when I actually needed you to be sorry? Because I wasn't ready. Because I couldn't admit what I'd done. Because it was easier to blame you than to look at myself. Because I was a coward. And now I've been in therapy. Now I've been seeing someone. Now I've been forced to look at myself, and I don't like what I see. I haven't liked what I've seen for a long time. I just didn't know how to change. I was quiet for a moment. The rain tapped against the window. The refrigerator hummed in the kitchen. You stole my name. You stole my credit. You stole $90,000 from my future. You took years of my life that I'll never get back. I know. You told the family I was the thief. You tried to ruin my reputation. You called me unstable. You called me dangerous. I know. You tried to sue me for defamation. I know. Why did you do it? Why did you double down instead of just admitting you were wrong? Because I was scared. Because I was ashamed. Because I didn't know how to face what I'd done. Because I thought if I blamed you, no one would look at me. I thought if I made you the villain, I could still be the hero of my own story. That's not an excuse. I know. I'm not asking for an excuse. I'm asking for a chance. A chance to do what? A chance to be better. A chance to know you. A chance to be your mother. A chance to earn back what I threw away. I looked at her. The woman who had given me life. The woman who had stolen my future. The woman who was sitting in my living room, crying, asking for something I wasn't sure I could give. You had a chance, I said. You had years of chances. You had every opportunity to do the right thing. You didn't take any of them. I know. So, why should I believe you now? Why should I believe that this time is different? Why should I open myself up to getting hurt again? Because I have nothing left. Because I've lost everything. Because I finally understand that the only way to get anything back is to tell the truth. What truth? That I was wrong. That I was a terrible mother. That I don't deserve your forgiveness. But that I'm asking for it anyway. That I'm willing to work for it. That I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it up to you if you let me. I didn't answer.
I didn't know how.
The anger was still there, buried under layers of hurt and disappointment. It had been there for years, a constant companion, a weight I had learned to carry. But something else was there too. Something softer. Something that looked like pity. Do you have any idea what you did to me? I'm starting to. Do you have any idea what it's like to try to buy a car and get rejected? To try to rent an apartment and get denied? To check your credit score and see a number so low you want to throw up?
No.
I don't. Do you have any idea what it's like to have your own mother tell people you're crazy? To have her call you unstable and dangerous and mentally ill?
No.
Do you have any idea what it's like to lie awake at night, wondering if you'll ever be able to buy a house, to start a family, to have a normal life? To wonder if your parents' mistakes will follow you forever? I'm learning. Learning isn't the same as knowing.
No.
It's not. We sat in silence for a long time. The rain continued to fall. The light outside the window shifted from gray to darker gray. My mother cried quietly, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. What do you want from me? I asked. I want to be part of your life. I want to know you. I want to be a grandmother to your children someday, if you have children. I want to be at your wedding. I want to be there for you. I want to make up for all the years I wasn't. That's not something you can just ask for. That's something you have to earn. It's not a gift. It's a privilege. I know. Then earn it. Don't ask me to give you something you haven't worked for. Don't expect me to just forget everything and pretend nothing happened. I'll do whatever it takes. We'll see. She stayed for 2 hours. We talked about small things at first. The weather. Her job at a department store. The one she had taken after my father left. Her therapy, the books she was reading, the support group she was attending. She told me about the way she was trying to change, the steps she was taking, the progress she was making. I didn't believe her completely. I didn't trust her completely. The wounds were still too fresh, the scars still too tender. But I listened. I watched her face as she spoke, looking for the tells I had learned to recognize over the years, the signs that she was performing rather than being real. I didn't see them, but that didn't mean they weren't there. When she left, she hugged me. A real hug. Not the stiff, uncomfortable hugs of my childhood, the ones that felt like obligations rather than expressions of love. Something warmer. Something tentative. Something that felt like the beginning of something rather than the end. I love you, Sarah. I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. Can I call you? I'll answer. Maybe. That's fair. She left. I watched her walk down the hallway. She looked smaller than I remembered. Frilier. Human. She was just a person, I realized. A flawed, broken, struggling person. That didn't excuse what she had done. But it made it harder to hate her. I didn't call my mother after that visit. Not because I was punishing her. Because I needed time. I needed to process. I needed to figure out what I wanted. Easy thing would have been to slam the door, and never look back. The easy thing would have been to hold on to my anger and let it warm me like a fire. But the easy thing wasn't the right thing. Not this time. Marcus came home that night. He found me sitting on the couch, staring at the wall, the grocery bag still on the coffee table untouched. What's wrong? My mother came to visit. Your mother? Here. She apologized. She said she's changing. She wants back in my life. What did you say? I said we'll see. That's fair. Is it? I don't know. I don't know if I'm being too harsh or not harsh enough. I don't know if I'm protecting myself or punishing her. You're protecting yourself. That's not harsh. That's survival. You've been surviving her your whole life. You're allowed to be careful. I don't want to be like her. I don't want to be the kind of person who holds grudges forever. You're not holding a grudge. You're being cautious. There's a difference. A grudge is about punishing someone else. Caution is about protecting yourself. My mother called the next week. I answered. Sarah? Mom. I just wanted to hear your voice. Okay. How are you?
I'm okay.
Work is good. Marcus is good.
I'm glad.
Did you call for any other reason?
No.
I just wanted to hear your voice. We talked for 10 minutes. Awkward. Stilted. The way strangers talk when they're trying to find common ground, when they're searching for something to say that won't hurt or offend.
She asked about my job.
I asked about her therapy. She told me about a book she was reading. I told her about the weather. When we hung up, I didn't feel better, but I didn't feel worse. The months passed. My mother called every week. The calls got longer. The silences got shorter. We talked about her therapy, my job, the weather. We talked about Marcus, about David, about my grandmother. We talked about everything except the past. The past was a wound that was still healing, a scab that we didn't want to pick at. We never talked about the money.
We never talked about the debt.
We never talked about the years of silence. Those conversations would come later, if they came at all.
For now, the small talk was enough.
For now, the distance felt safe. My father continued his own journey. He was different now. More present.
More honest.
He visited twice that year, and each time he was a little more like the father I had always wanted. He asked questions. He listened to the answers. He didn't make excuses. He didn't deflect blame. He just showed up. Marcus proposed in September. On the beach. At sunset. With a ring that was too expensive and a speech that made me cry. I said yes. My father cried when I told him. Congratulations, Sarah. I'm so happy for you. Thank you, Dad. He's a good man. He is. I'm proud of you. My mother called when she heard the news. She was crying too. I'm so happy for you, Sarah. Thank you. Can I come to the wedding? I thought about it. The question I had been avoiding for months. The question that would determine everything. The question that would decide whether the door stayed open or closed. I don't know. Not yet. I need to see. I need more time. I understand. I'm not saying no. I'm saying not yet. I'm not ready to make that decision. That's enough. That's more than I deserve. The wedding was small. Just friends and a few family members. Marcus's parents, who had welcomed me like a daughter from the very first day. My father, who was still learning how to be present, how to be honest, how to be the parent I needed. David, who had finally chosen a side. My grandmother, who flew in from Florida and cried through the whole ceremony, her wrinkled hands clutching a tissue. My mother did not come. I didn't invite her. Not because I was angry. Because I wasn't ready. Because trust takes time to rebuild, and time was something we hadn't had enough of yet. Because love is not a switch you can flip on and off, and my love for her was buried under years of hurt. My father walked me down the aisle. His hand was steady. His eyes were wet. I'm proud of you, Sarah. I've always been proud of you. Even when I didn't say it. Even when I wasn't there. Thank you, Dad. I'm sorry for everything. For all the years I wasn't there. For all the times I should have protected you and didn't. I know. I love you. I love you too. We walked. Marcus was waiting at the end of the aisle. He was crying too. His mother was crying. His father was beaming. We said our vows. Simple words. Honest words. Promises to show up, to listen, to choose each other every day. We exchanged rings. We kissed. I was married. I had a new family, a family I had chosen. The reception was loud and joyful and full of love. My father gave a toast. He talked about how proud he was. He talked about how much I had overcome. He talked about how lucky Marcus was to have found me. He didn't mention my mother. He didn't have to. Her absence was a presence in the room, a ghost that everyone could feel but no one named. My grandmother danced with Marcus. Marcus's mother cried. David hugged me and told me he loved me, that he was proud of me, that he was sorry it had taken him so long to choose a side. I was happy. For the first time in years, I was truly happy. The kind of happy that comes not from getting what you want, but from finally letting go of what you don't need. My mother sent a card. A wedding card. It arrived a few days after the ceremony, when Marcus and I were back from our honeymoon, settled into our apartment, starting our life together. Inside, she had written, "Dear Sarah, I know I wasn't there. I know I don't deserve to be. I know I have no right to ask for anything. But I wanted you to know that I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the woman you've become. I'm proud of the life you've built. I love you, Mom." I read the card 3 times. Then I put it on the refrigerator, right next to the magnet Marcus had bought me at a farmer's market, the one that said, "Home is wherever I'm with you." I didn't know what else to do with it. I didn't want to throw it away. That felt too final, too cruel. But I didn't want to cherish it either. That felt too forgiving, too soon. So I put it on the refrigerator, a place where I would see it every day. A reminder that she was trying. A reminder that the door was still open, even if only a crack. Here's what I learned. Here's what 5 years of struggle, of pain, of therapy, of rebuilding had taught me. People can change. Not everyone. Not quickly. Not easily. But some people, if they work hard enough, if they want it badly enough, if they are willing to look at themselves in the mirror and admit what they've done, some people can change. My father changed. He became the man he should have been all along. He showed up.
He apologized.
He made amends. He didn't make excuses. He stopped blaming my mother for his choices. He took responsibility for his own failures. He became someone I could respect, someone I could love, someone I could trust. My mother is still changing.
Slowly. Painfully.
Imperfectly. She is not the mother I needed. She may never be. The years of damage are not easily undone. The patterns of a lifetime are not easily broken. But she is trying. And trying is more than she ever did before. I don't know if I'll ever fully forgive her. I don't know if I'll ever fully trust her. The wounds are too deep, the scars too tender, the memories too painful. But I'm willing to find out. I'm willing to let her try. I'm willing to take it one day at a time, one phone call at a time, one small step at a time. Because holding on to anger was like drinking poison and expecting her to die. And I was tired of being poisoned. I was tired of carrying the weight of her sins. I was tired of letting her live rent-free in my head. I am 30 years old now. I am married to a good man. I have a home that is mine. I have a credit score that is finally good, a number that represents years of hard work, of careful saving, of rebuilding what was destroyed. I have a father who calls every Sunday and a mother who calls every Wednesday. I have a brother who is my hero and a grandmother who is my rock. I have friends who have become family and a husband who is my partner in everything. My life is not perfect. My family is not perfect. There are still cracks in the foundation, still wounds that haven't healed, still conversations we haven't had. But it is mine. All of it. The good and the bad. The joy and the pain. The love and the loss. And I am finally free. Last Sunday, my mother called. "Sarah, I've been thinking." "About what?" "About the money. About the debt. About everything I owe you." "You don't have to." "I know I don't have to."
"But I want to."
"I've been saving. It's not much. A few $100s. But it's a start." "Mom, I know it doesn't make up for what I did. I know it never will. But I want you to know that I'm trying. That I'm putting in the work. That I'm not just saying words." I was quiet for a moment. The sun was setting over Chicago. The sky was orange and pink and purple.
Thank you, I said.
For what? For trying. For not giving up. For not just apologizing and expecting me to forget. It's the least I can do. It's more than you've ever done before. I know. I'm sorry it took me so long. We talked for a while longer. About nothing important. About the weather. About her garden.
About my job.
When we hung up, I stood by the window and watched the sunset. I thought about the 3 a.m. call that had started everything. The fear, the anger, the years of struggle. I thought about my parents, about their failures and their flaws and their slow, painful attempts to change. I thought about myself, about the woman I had become, about the life I had built, and I smiled, because I had survived, because I had thrived, because I had turned their debt into my freedom. Subscribe for more stories about family, betrayal, and the courage to build something new. Thank you for listening.